It's time to take off another song meaning off our list, and up next we have Down Bad. Now, in an iHeartRadio interview, Taylor herself gave an explanation about this song. So before we take a closer look at the lyrics, let's look at what she had to say.
Songs on the Tortured Poets Department deal with the idea of heartbreak or loss in a metaphor of something else. The metaphor in Down Bad is that I was comparing sort of the idea of being, you know, like love bombed, or someone like rocks your world and dazzles you and then just kind of abandons you, as a alien abduction where you were abducted by aliens, but you wanted, like, this girl was abducted by aliens, but she wanted to stay with them.
She essentially talks about being love bombed, and then she talks about the story about a girl being abducted by aliens. And then when they drop her back off, she's kind of like, wait, I want to go back. I want to have what I had with you. So she says the character she created in this story feels like they had some sort of like out of this world love and romance experience, and now they're back here and all they want to do is go back. The first time that I heard her talking about this, I was like, what is she talking about to do with aliens? Like, I did not hear that in the song at all. But if you start looking at the lyrics closely, it actually makes a lot of sense. So let's just get right into it, starting off with, did you really beam me up in a cloud of sparkling dust? So here immediately she's actually already talking about abduction, like being beamed up into a ship. And people say that this is actually a reference to Star Trek, where the famous quote, or I think there was like a Mandela effect that the quote actually never happened, but the famously known quote was something like, beam me up, Scotty. But anyway, what she's trying to say here is that she was abducted, he beamed her up into the sky, but not in like a scary way, in a cloud of sparkling dust. So kind of similar to this whole concept of lavender haze, not similar in that they're the same, but that it's like a way of talking about like love, and it's not supposed to be like a scary abduction. It's like her way of romanticizing it. And in the Era story, you will see that she was also portraying this imagery of a spaceship coming and picking her up. She continues, just to do experiments on, tell me I was the chosen one. Show me the world is bigger than us, then send me back where I came from. So she's talking about getting abducted, having this out-of-world experience, and she's saying, did you really do that just so that you could put me back here and make me realize what I'm missing out on? Why bother showing her this other side of life, this kind of love that she's never had, only to put her back in this like neutral state? Then she sings, for a moment I knew cosmic love, again emphasizing how out of this world this love she experienced was. And we get into the chorus. Now I'm down bad, crying at the gym. Everything comes out teenage petulance. If I can't have him, I might just die. It will make no difference. Now, down bad is actually a slang term, and it usually describes somebody who's going through a lot of hardship, desperation, desire, and often related to like lover relationships. So she's basically saying that this love interest has left her and has left her wanting more. Basically saying that even as she's doing like her regular routine, like going to the gym, she's affected by it. This results in everything she says coming out teenage petulance. Now, what does that mean? This means that regardless of the situation or topic being discussed, her response will always come out being like irritable, moody, like this type of teenage angst. So when she goes on to quote, "F it if I can't have him," she's saying that these are like the teenage petulant type of things that she's saying that are coming as a result of how down bad she is from this relationship. She's being dramatic and she's comparing herself to an over-the-top teen, which is very, very dramatic. But then again, this is exactly what Taylor has said, that this was kind of like an overall theme in the album, facing like life and death and like real extremes. When we talked about My Boy Only Breaks His Favorite Toys, she also described her lover as childish, which could also play into why she's feeling like a teenager now. It wasn't a very adult-like relationship, which therefore does not merit an adult-like response. It triggers different types of emotions. Down bad, waking up in blood, staring at the sky, come back and pick me up. If I can't have us, I might just not get up. I might stay down bad. So again, she continues to talk about how she's yearning for him. She's looking at the sky, hoping that the spaceship will come back and take her. That's what she means when she's saying, come back and pick me up. Now, when she said waking up in blood, I was kind of debating what that could mean, and I read some different theories people have. Some people think that just from being abducted, like there's it like hurts her, and waking up in blood is just a metaphor for the pain she has endured through the abduction and like the end of that love. Others have connected it to her not being pregnant yet, and that's just a desire that she has. For me, I think I see it more as a symbolism for just being deeply in pain. Did you take all my old clothes just to leave me here naked and alone? This metaphor suggests the feeling of being stripped of your own identity and comfort. The old clothes symbolize familiarity, security, so being left naked and alone symbolizes that she feels vulnerable and abandoned. In a field in my same old town that somehow seems so hollow now. So after abducting her, he drops her up back in this field, which I guess usually in these movies where people get abducted, it happens on a field, so that's why she's talking about a field. But it's in her same old town, so it's a place that she's very comfortable in, a place that she knows. But after the abduction, her perception of it has now changed. Now it feels really hollow, it feels really empty. It has really altered like the way she views things. They'll say that I'm nuts if I talk about the existence of you. Now the first time I heard this, I actually thought it was something similar to what she talked about in It's Different. I thought it was more about her talking so much about him to the point where people were getting annoyed even if she just mentions him in any way. I think we've all had a friend who goes through a breakup where just everything reminds them of their ex, like water or whatever. So I thought she was talking about, oh, if I just mention the fact that you exist, people will think I'm crazy. But given the alien analogy of it all, I actually think she's just comparing him to aliens, and how if you talk about aliens being real, people will tell you that you're nuts. So she's basically saying how if she even talks about him existing and the experience that he gave her, people will not believe her and they will think she's crazy. Then she sings, "For a moment I was heaven struck," and this line just always makes me laugh because the first time that I heard it, I don't know why, I thought she said for a moment I was having a stroke. And like, I can't unhear it sometimes. Like whenever it comes on, I just sing that line in my head even though it's like not what it says. But essentially we continue on the same message. She was heaven struck. She had this kind of out of world holy experience. Then the chorus repeats and we get to the bridge. "I loved your hostile takeovers, encounters closer and closer, all your indecent exposures, how dare you say that it's..." So here she's saying she found some sexiness to him being more on the aggressive side of things. Maybe he was like quite intense during the relationship. But I mean, also if you think about like getting abducted, that's not a friendly interaction. But the indecency of it all made it thrilling for her. That interruption at the end where she doesn't finish the sentence, "How dare you say that it's," probably was gonna be "How dare you say that it's over," where the word has such an emotional weight that she can't even say it. She continues, "I'll build you a fort on some planet where they can all understand it." She's suggesting that her feelings for him are so intense that she would be willing to build a fort, and I think it's just a metaphor for her saying how she would stand up for him. And I think she would just want to get people to understand why she loves him and like show everybody what kind of great person he is. But as we heard in My Boy Only Breaks His Favorite Toys, he thinks she's better off without him, even though she doesn't agree. Then she sings, "How dare you think it's romantic, leaving me safe and stranded." Now, if you're a 1989 fan, this must have rang a bell because in New Romantics, she sings, "Please leave me stranded, it's so romantic." So for me, this could mean a couple of things. One could be showing maturity from Taylor and kind of saying that she's growing up, that she's changed her mind about how she views that. But also we know that during the 1989 era, Taylor was already friends with Maddie, or who knows if there was already some sort of situationship happening. So maybe this parallel is making a reference to that somehow. She's looking back on those days and saying like, "How dare you use my own romanticism tactics on me? Because fuck I was in love, so fuck you if I can't have us." So here she's clearly just showing anger towards him. She's saying like, if I can't have this relationship because of these voices in your head and you're like not getting that I want to be with you and you somehow think that I'm better off without you, then fuck you. And we get to the outro. "Like I lost my twin, fuck it if I can't have him. Down bad, waving at the ship." Like I lost my twin really shows that she felt such a strong emotional connection to him, and I don't know, they must have had so many things in common that she was like, okay, we're like twins. And this is something that I think she was trying to portray in the Fortnite music video when her and Post Malone were laying together and like wearing the exact same clothes. Waving at the ship, it could be like trying to get the attention, like she's looking out the window or she's standing at the field, like begging for the ship to come back and pick her up because she wants to get kidnapped again. She wants to be abducted and go with him. So did I miss anything or did you interpret anything differently? Let me know because I'm really curious. But as always, thank you so much for hanging out with me. I hope you enjoyed this video and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!